Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring a highly focused philosophy that basically completely dismantles our everyday relationship with comfort and, well, normalcy. We spend so much of our lives trying to figure out how to fit in, right? How to meet the standard, how to just be fine. But the source text we're breaking down today, The Architecture of the Outstanding, it completely shatters that approach. It presents a blueprint that is as simple as it is absolutely ruthless. I'm so excited to guide you through this because truly understanding this framework, it's going to fundamentally change how you view your daily decisions. So I want you to really truly think about this question for a second. Do you want to be normal? Because look, society tells us that normal is safe, normal is accepted. But if your absolute ambition is to achieve something great, this question is a total trap. We often think we can be normal and still achieve incredible things. We think we can live like everyone else, act like everyone else, and somehow magically get results that no one else gets. But as we're about to see, the source text fundamentally rejects that whole idea. There is nothing normal about being outstanding. This is the foundational quote right from the text, and man, is it a massive reality check. It's the cold, open truth, setting the stage for everything else we're going to cover today. The author doesn't mince words here. Outstanding literally means standing out from the rest. By definition, it just cannot be normal. If you're doing what's normal, you're doing what's expected, the average, the mundane. And this quote forces us to immediately reconcile with the fact that greatness demands a total departure from the baseline. And that brings us right into Section 1, rejecting the normal and the illusion of the ordinary. Nothing normal. The source text hammers this concept over and over with intense, rhythmic repetition. Let me give it to you straight from the source. There is nothing normal about winning, period. I mean, think about what winning actually requires. Abnormal effort, abnormal focus, abnormal sacrifice. When you look at the absolute pinnacle of any field, you're not looking at normalcy. You're looking at a pretty extreme deviation from the norm. Nothing. Ordinary. The text continues this rapid-fire breakdown by stating, there is nothing ordinary about being extraordinary. Just look at that word, extraordinary. Literally outside the boundaries of the ordinary. You can't rely on ordinary routines, ordinary habits, or ordinary mindsets and somehow expect an extraordinary outcome. The source is demanding a complete and total rejection of ordinary actions. It's basically telling us that the math just does not add up if you try to put ordinary inputs into an extraordinary equation. Which brilliantly illustrates the harsh, binary nature of this philosophy. On one side, you've got normal and ordinary. On the other side, outstanding, winning, and extraordinary. You simply cannot reside in both columns at the same time. It's physically and philosophically impossible. You can't keep one foot in the cozy comfort of the left column while trying to reach for the rewards of the right column. The text presents this as an absolute dividing line. You've got to pick a side. Now, to understand why this choice is so tough, we have to look at the environment we're fighting against. The text calls this the culture of mediocrity. What is that exactly? It's a baseline environment where blending in is commonly accepted over the drive for greatness. Think of it like a giant, incredibly heavy, but unfortunately very warm and cozy blanket of average. It's that constant societal pressure to not rock the boat, to not try too hard, to just be, good enough. This culture of mediocrity is the invisible antagonist you are fighting against every single day. So how do we fight it? That leads us directly into Section 2, moving against the crowd and escaping the pull of the ordinary. Notice how isolating this reality actually is. That massive 99% slice is the crowd. That's the culture of mediocrity. And then there's that tiny, isolated 1% sliver. That is you if you choose to be unique. The text explicitly says you need to be unique in a culture of mediocrity. Being outstanding is a lonely pursuit. The crowd has mass, it has gravity, and it wants to pull you right back into that big 99% slice. Resisting that pull, it takes immense, deliberate energy. Luckily, the text provides a very literal playbook for this escape. Step 1, you need to stand out in the crowd. Step 2, essentially, you need to move in the opposite direction of that crowd. Step 3, you need to be challenging things that are commonly accepted as the norm. Notice all the active verbs here. Stand, move, challenge. This isn't about sitting quietly and hoping people notice how special you are. No, if the crowd is moving left towards comfort, you have to pack your bags and march right. The absolutely crucial point here is that standing out isn't just about appearances. It's not about wearing a loud shirt or just being the loudest voice in a meeting. The text gives us a very specific condition. It says, you need to be different doing difficult things. That right there is the defining metric. The culture of mediocrity avoids difficult things.
Therefore, to be unique, you must actively seek them out. You've got to challenge those commonly accepted norms through rigorous, difficult action. That is the true architecture of being outstanding.
Which brings us to the final, and honestly perhaps the most intense part. Section 3, embracing the uncomfortable, and the ultimate cost of greatness. This whole thing builds to a stark choice. On the left, comfortable and commonly accepted norms. On the right, uncomfortable and difficult things. The path of the ordinary is designed to minimize friction. It's designed to be comfortable. The path of the outstanding, by definition of everything we've just pulled from the text, maximizes friction. It requires moving against the crowd, doing difficult things, and facing the pure isolation of being unique. It is inherently, fundamentally uncomfortable. So I really have to ask you, are you comfortable right now? Think about your routines, look at your goals, look at your daily efforts. Are they comfortable? Because according to the text we're analyzing today, if your answer is yes, then you are not on the path to being outstanding. You've drifted back into the culture of mediocrity. Comfort is the warning sign. Comfort is the flashing alarm bell telling you that you're blending right back into the crowd. And that brings us to the final, uncompromising climax of the source text. You need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. This is the ultimate takeaway, guys. You don't just tolerate the discomfort of doing difficult things, you have to embrace it. You have to make discomfort your new baseline. When moving against the crowd feels hard, when challenging norms feels incredibly isolating, you have to find your peace exactly within that struggle. That discomfort, that's the literal feeling of you building the architecture of the outstanding. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought, directly inspired by our explainer today. If winning isn't normal, why are you still trying to fit in? Every single time you suppress your uniqueness just to blend into the culture of mediocrity, you are actively choosing the ordinary over the extraordinary. So stop seeking the comfort of the crowd, embrace the difficulty, move in the opposite direction, and start building your own outstanding reality.